Hi, I'm Tricia Swenson.
And I'm Mark Sassy.
Welcome to Discover Gypsum. Come along as we give you a historical tour of this town and what's in store for its future.
Long before the resorts of Vail and Beaver Creek were even thought of, Western Eagle County was abuzz with activity.
Settlers first came to the Gypsum area in 1882, when there were only 4 ranches between Red Cliff and Glenwood Springs, and no wagon road into the valley.
By 1911, Gypsum was incorporated, and soon they had a blacksmith shop, general store, saloon, restaurant, hardware store, and 2 hotels. Now it boasts an airport and a thriving community.
Since then, the town of Gypsum has received several awards and accolades for their quality of life.
Here they find a balance: live, work, play, and be healthy. That's their motto, which is easy for them to do with their close proximity to the Eagle River and an abundance of activities nearby.
Come on, let's discover Gypsum.
Gypsum, when I got here in 1994, has always been a sleepy little town with a population of about 1,700. Today we're home to about 7,000 people, and it's been a great town to watch my own family grow up in.
The town of Gypsum is a very unique community. We sit at the far western end of the Eagle Valley. Predominantly, our residents are employees of the entire valley, and it is a very close-knit community.
The town of Gypsum is a very welcoming place. It's not highfalutin and fancy like some places, and the people here are down home. They're just everyday folks.
One of Gypsum's themes is live, work, play, and that's something that we've decided is kind of our motto here in Gypsum. It's a great place to live. We want to provide it to be a great place to work, and probably most importantly is we want it to be a great place to play.
The town of Gypsum is a Playful City, USA designated community, one of only a few in the state of Colorado. What this designation means is that we really do live, work, play, and are a healthy, active community. The town has over 12 parks. We have multiple access points to BLM land. We have fishing ponds right in our community. We have activities and community events year-round, and that's very unique to a lot of small towns, especially with our population.
All right, he's ready.
Eagle Valley High School, located here in the town of Gypsum, actually services 2 communities. It services not only the town of Gypsum, but also the town of Eagle.
And was actually ranked by U.S. News and World Report as being in the top 10% of high schools in the nation.
The town of Gypsum is actually home to the Eagle Valley Airport, which services the entire Vail Valley and really beyond that. That amenity is actually a wonderful gateway to our valley and to all of our wonderful amenities here in our community.
At 6,300 feet above sea level and along the Eagle River, the Gypsum area was a desirable place for early settlers.
These colorful characters exhibited a pioneer spirit and a sense of community that can still be found in Gypsum today.
Let's learn more from the Eagle County Historical Society.
Gypsum at one time had a bustling little downtown there along Railroad Avenue and First Street. And Railroad Avenue, logically, because the train came there and stopped there. There was a huge hotel at the corner of First and Railroad Avenue called the Skiff Hotel. People could stay there for the night and then disperse through the county wherever they were headed. Some were headed up to Red Cliff to the mining camps. The mining was up valley, but Gypsum was always about agriculture. Scandinavians who immigrated here understood the climate, they understood how to grow things. Potatoes proved to be a particularly good crop here in Gypsum. Gypsum was not only a ranching town, it was a colorful town. And it had adventurous pioneers who were very entrepreneurial. They weren't afraid to try new things. William Schliff is believed to be one of the first immigrants to come to Gypsum. He was a young man from Germany, actually came visiting with relatives in the United States and liked it so much he ran away when it was time to go back home. He lived the style of a Ute Indian, basically, and didn't wear all that many clothes until it came to the point where more settlers were coming into Gypsum, and some of the ranchers around got together and talked with him one day and said, "Bill, we've got women now, you're gonna have to wear pants. Please do that." Another one of the early settlers was a man named Orrin Daggett. He is a prominent figure in Eagle County history. He went on to become quite a crusading newspaper editor. He was always pushing for the betterment of the county. His historic papers are a delight to read. There's nothing objective in them. Brothers Sam and Frank Dahl came from Ohio. They loved horse racing. They also liked to gamble, and they developed a theory that if they could raise thoroughbred horses in the Gypsum Creek Valley at a relatively high altitude, then ship them to the racetracks in Chicago by train, these horses would have greater lung capacity and could race faster and longer and stronger than the horses from the Midwest. We are sitting in the historic Lutheran Church in Gypsum. It was built in 1890 by the Scandinavian immigrants who came here. The church, though, was also used by other denominations. This was a small, struggling pioneer community, and they were generous about sharing the church. For example, when a woman named Sarah Doherty, who was beloved by the community, died, she was an Irish Catholic. They let the traveling Catholic priest come in and have the funeral here out of this Lutheran church. The Ladies' Aid Society in Gypsum was a very prominent group that got things done. They were a political force, and they were also a social group. The Ladies' Aid Society was anti-drinking, and ahead of Prohibition, they persuaded the Gypsum Town Council to ban alcohol in Gypsum. And the ban on alcohol didn't go over well with the newspaper editors of the day. They started writing poems and stories in the newspaper that would say, well, if you want to drink in Gypsum, it's going to be tea. The current Gypsum Town Hall is located on what was once the Lundgren Ranch. Eventually, when Gypsum decided to build a town hall on that property in about the 1980s or 1990s, they needed to move the historic house. The other option was to destroy it. Fortunately, there was a buyer interested in having the house moved. They packed it up on a really snowy, cold winter day and settle it where it is now, which is near the junction of Gypsum Creek and Eagle River. It has since been developed into a restaurant. It's known as the Rittenhouse, and it has definitely a lot of historic charm to it. Similarly, the Lundgren Barn, they were able to leave on the site of the original Lundgren Ranch, develop it into the theater, which is now the center of the Gypsum Day celebration and of the activities here in town. Gypsum undoubtedly got its name from the Gyp Hills that surround the town. I don't believe it was until about the 1980s that people realized what a valuable resource that gypsum was, and the wallboard plant was established. It makes a product that's used all over the United States. Gypsum is a strong community that people are proud to be a part of, and it has a strong community spirit.
Looking for some big fun in a small town?
When we return, we'll tell you all about the concerts, movies in the park, and all the other events that make Gypsum so unique.